Hey everyone, this is Pears, and we are here to talk to you about the weaknesses of this type of technology. In one of the articles I read, which was titled Digital Technology and the Conservation of Nature, it points out a couple of very interesting things about this technology and some of the weaknesses. And one thing that we can kind of conclude is that this type of technology could potentially be used for the opposite effect of what it was intended to do. And what I mean by that is, for example, where I live in the Russian River watershed, and I live along Dutchbill Creek, which is a tributary to the Russian River, the coho salmon is considered endangered here. And let's say our community went out and did a whole project of identifying where the coho salmon are making their runs, where they're laying their eggs, in their current locations using a smartphone app that uses GPS. Well, that's great and everything, but somebody else could download the app and then look at all the research, all the GPS points of where these salmon might be and be interested in fishing for them. And he could just use all that data and go back out and, potentially taking the salmon out of the creek and fishing for them. So that is potentially one weakness, people using the technology for the ways that it was not intended for it to be used. And the second is, I believe the article calls it de-skilling. And what I mean by that is, let's say there's a project where you're going out, and it's a biodiversity project, just mapping the different types of species that might be in a given area. And you go out there and you find an organism, and that person doesn't know what it is. Well, usually people would use a DICOT key or any type of identification booklet to help them distinguish what that species might be, and then bring it back to their home or to their workplace, and then kind of confirm further if it is correct, if that was the species that they identified correctly in the field or incorrectly in the field using their DICOT key. So using multiple references. But with this type of technology, you can just take a picture and not know what it is, upload it on the app to a database, and someone might be able to tell you what it is, and you have lost that entire skill of going through and figuring that out for yourself. And so that's just something to consider when doing these projects, is that that is actually a really cool skill to learn, is to using a DICOT key and distinguishing the differences between species and the characteristics that make a species what it is. And if we get away from that, we're de-skilling that art in the field. So it's just something to consider with the rise of technology, and especially with smartphone apps.